Tacoma. I'm happy to be in any city, really, because a little about myself, I'm from a poor little town called Aberdeen, Washington. You guys can smell the poverty on me, I can tell. It's okay, don't pull back. It's not a good area, I'm aware. For those of you that don't know, that's where Kurt Cobain and Nirvana came from, right? It was alright, cool. It's a town so poor, dirty, and grungy, it created grunge music. It's not a good area, you know, but it kind of annoys me when people only know Kurt Cobain and Nirvana in Aberdeen, because Aberdeen has more going for us than that. Like, Aberdeen was recently voted the ugliest city in Washington. Yeah, for the third time in a row, so, yeah. Don't come for our title, you will get robbed at Needle Point, okay? But people that don't know I come from an area like that will take one look at a guy that looks like me, and they'll be like, hey man, you need to check the privilege, because not everyone's from a gated community, jerk. And I'm always surprised, I'm like, how did you know I'm from the only gated trailer park in Aberdeen? The only other gated community where I come from is Stafford Creek Penitentiary, so, and that's where all my friends live now, so I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I get bad advice all the time, especially growing up in that little town. Like, I was visiting my family, and someone told me the other day, they said, hey man, you gotta burn sage, because burning sage is super good luck, dude. But no one ever bothered to tell me that burning sage, I own myself, was considered really bad luck. And I learned that way too late when my cat died. Yeah, so rest in peace, Sage, I'm gonna miss her. You guys are cool, you can take it, relax. Yeah, I'm dumb, I've failed a lot, I've been fired from a lot of different jobs. Like, I was fired from a job one time for drinking and working. I got called into the boss's office, they're like, Jeremiah, you can't be drinking and working. And I'm so much fun, I was like, who's working, you know? I'm a lot of fun to work with. I got fired from a different job for calling in sick too many times with herpes. Called me in the office, like, Jeremiah, your attendance is spotty and this is a reoccurring problem. Like, I think that's how herpes works, boss. I've had a lot of jobs, but probably my favorite job I ever had was I worked at a daycare. Finally, smartest student class. I learned a lot about kids working at a daycare because I learned there's two main types of kids. There's kids that hate getting dizzy, and kids that love getting dizzy. Or as I call them, the future alcoholics of America. And just like regular alcoholics, I learned quickly that the future alcoholics don't know when enough is enough. Like, I gotta give a good life lesson. I'll be like, Billy, we puked twice, little buddy. We're getting close to what we call a blackout, okay? Now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna lay down and take a nap, because if we keep going, we're gonna shit our pants and get arrested, okay? I was fired pretty quickly from that job too. Growing up in Aberdeen, when I was a kid, my dad was an EMT, he was an ambulance driver. And the way he described his job to me when I was a kid was he said that driving an ambulance is a lot like driving a taxi, except you don't get the tips. Which is a terrible analogy. I don't think driving an ambulance is anything like driving a taxi. But I do think driving an ambulance is like driving DoorDash. Because the whole goal of either of them is you gotta get the delivery there before it gets cold. You guys are doing good so far. Yeah, I'm a silly guy. I make a lot of silly decisions. I'm cheap. I like Cheapo Depot. That's the way I go a lot. And when I was a kid, Cheapo Depot. Sure, wife loves it. That's fine. Mine doesn't either, bro. It's all right. But like when I was a young man, I wanted to get the cheapest LASIK eye surgery I could possibly find. Here's a fun fact for you guys. Don't do that. Pay a lot of money for your surgeries, because there were some red flags involved with my LASIK eye surgery. Because the first thing the surgeon offered me when I met him, when I sat down for the surgery, he offered me a prayer. Thank you, sir. I don't care how religious the rest of you are, that should terrify everybody. Like, and I get that people were religious. He was literally like, sir, I offer elective prayers before the surgery. Would you like me to pray for you today? I was like, look at me, doctor, you need more faith in yourself. What are we talking about? And I could let it go. I could let a prayer go. People were religious, that's fine. But then there were other red flags, because as soon as I laid eyes on my LASIK eye surgeon, I noticed he was wearing glasses. That's the blind leading the blind. Are you terrified yet? I wish I took the prayer, because my eyes turned out just as bad after the surgery. That's the last time I get LASIK done in a church in Aberdeen, guys. I've been with my girlfriend for 6 years. I love her very much. Straight man here, but I picked up a new hobby. It's flirting with dudes. How you doing? It started out as a bit, as a gag. It was funny, you know? But then I quickly realized how starved for attention men are. Because I would go like, what's up, handsome? And they're always like, me? Jeez. And it's crazy, I noticed a pattern. Like, I noticed the older the guy, the more they appreciate the compliment. An old guy walked in and I said, what's cooking, good looking? And he kissed me and gave me a hug. What the fuck? I don't know, man. It made me notice how lonely dudes are. It's just a cry for help, how lonely they are. That's why they sneeze so fucking loud. It's a cry for help, you know? Next time you hear a dude sneeze at the top of his lungs, don't say God bless you, give him the damn hug. That's what they need. They got sad right there. All right, we're gonna move on. Wrote that joke about my dad. My dad sneezes crazy loud. He's a redneck from Montana, so he always does things a little extreme. Like the way he raised me was a little extreme compared to everyone else in my neighborhood. Because I knew when I was in trouble as a little kid, because he wouldn't grab me by the arm, he'd grab me by the back of the neck. Or as he called it, the Montana steering wheel. We had fun, you know? And, you know, I remember this one time as a kid very vividly, because I had an ear infection. He had to take work off. He was pissed. And he grabbed me by the back of the neck and he reeled me in, and he's like, boy, if you're not actually hurt, you're gonna be when I'm done with you. Have you ever prayed to be hurt? Because it's a weird prayer to God. You're like, dear Lord, let me be hurt, amen. And I'm petty. Like, I can't wait for my dad to be on his deathbed, guys. Roll with me here. Because I'll have to take work off, I'll be pissed. I'll grab him by the back of his neck and reel him in. I'll be like, Paul, if you're not actually hurt, you're gonna be when I'm done with you. You killing my dad? Yeah, alright. Just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. My whole family knows that joke, including my dad. He thinks it's hilarious. Apparently we don't. That's okay. Oh man, my dad is hard to get along with, my mom knows that. And as a kid, my sister and I would get taken to a family friend's house, Eric. And Eric was a cool guy. He was kind and sweet, loving. He's the opposite of my dad. So as a kid, the feelings I had for Eric were confusing, right? One day I went up to my mom and I was like, Mom, I think Eric should be my dad, because I love Eric more than Dad. That wasn't a punchline, by the way. She handled it super well, you know? She was like, I love him more than Dad too, don't mess this up. Which is extra funny as an adult, because I got a paternity test done last February, and Eric is my dad, so. Growing up in a little town like Aberdeen, I always get bad advice, like I said, but, you know, growing up, I always got this one set of bad advice. Don't worry, every time I got hurt, my parents would be like, don't worry, Jeremiah, chicks dig scars. And I wish they were honest about what scars chicks actually dug. Because I've never once been laid off my emotional scars. Fuck you, don't pull that on me now. No one has ever came up and been like, you were raised in a trailer park and denied food stamps? We gotta fuck right now, oh my god. I've had a lot of silly things happen. Like I recently got a new phone number, and the person that had the phone number before me died. I was getting texts and calls for a dead person. It was weird. I didn't know what to do when the mom texted me. She was like, honey, I can't bear to delete this phone number. I miss you, I love you, fly high, Mom. And I didn't know what to say to a text like that. But I learned immediately what I should not have said to a text like that. Because I just responded, love you too, Mom! And she was pissed. I had no choice but to ghost her like your dead daughter after that. I'm kidding, I sent her a dick pic instead, guys. All right, that's my time. Thank you so much. guys have been a lot of fun. You're in for a great set. If you guys are ready for your next comedian.